Welcome to New Realities. I'm Alan Steinfeld. I'm very happy to be here with my good friend Barbara Slane, interviewing one of the best, I think, spiritual mediums that I've met. And we are going to start with just a little prayer from Barbara. And why don't we start that before we go into the interview? So go ahead, Barbara.
So what I'd like to do, and since yes, Roland's a medium, but he's incredibly heart centered, and so I'd like all of us on this call to just take a breath and take a moment that the information that we receive is what we need to hear, that it is comes from love, is only from love, and that we all join together in this collective sharing and healing. And we're so thrilled to be here with Roland. I'm always thrilled to be with Roland because you are all about always light and love.
Yeah, I think that's your work, really. Go ahead. What were you saying?
It is my work. It's been my work from the very beginning that it is about love. And what I've been discovering through this pandemic, even, that love is the absolute catalyst for change. And so it is love. You're right. It's what this is all about.
So, in your mediumship work, you talk to people who have passed over on the other side, and what you bring back to the ones here is pure love of their relationships, right? I mean,
That's exactly what happens. It's that moment between two people where that energy of love exists. It's that moment where the love is the catalyst, as I said, that defines a relationship with someone.
mm,
So, Roland, at this time, this unprecedented time, coming from where you came from before, which was always seeing the possibility of love as healing, um, what has this time taken? What are the possibilities that exist now? What's going on? And can you share ways that we might be able to tap into energies that will help us at this time?
Well, that's a fantastic question because we are presented, even in this pandemic, during this time of being quarantined, we're given the opportunity to really evaluate our limitless possibilities. We're given opportunities to really stretch and change our viewpoint. One of the most amazing things that has happened over these last 3, 4 months is that we've all had to get very still. And in that stillness, we have the opportunity to expand our understanding of what exists in the universe, of what exists out there. So this is a very important time. Humanity has to get their story straight because this is our opportunity to stretch ourselves and to become even more, to become even more.
stretch ourselves. So, what do you suggest? Yeah, we're stretching ourselves. Everyone's like in their little home, or they have been. So, what do you suggest we can do to tap into this limitless nature? Because it is a great opportunity. It is like a incubation period in a
Hmm.
sense. So, what do you get from your perspective?
So, as a guy who feels energy, just because the world has stopped moving, the energy has not. It has been moving very aggressively. And people that are empathic are feeling more energy than they've ever felt before because of the changes in the frequencies and the energies that exist around us. So, to me, I know meditation is a little bit cliched, but meditation is significant at this particular moment to really still ourselves so that we can see things a little bit differently than we did before. Well, we are all changing the way we live our lives, but we're given an opportunity to really step into who we are as humans. I have to say something here. I think somewhere along the line, we forgot about our perfection. We forgot about who we are as compassionate, loving beings. I think we forgot that. And I think the entire universe is working on our behalf so that we can reach a new level of understanding. But we have to find that space within ourselves. We have to go out in nature. We have to be connected to each other. We have to remember that we are in a state of perfection in our lovingness and our kindness.
So, you mentioned nature, and it is having a profound effect on everyone. It's actually an amazing mirror because it shows how quickly, with a little love and care, we can restore ourselves. That's the mirror. So, can you talk about nature and how it's been speaking to you at this time?
But nature is louder than it's ever been because I'm the quietest
What
I've
do you
ever been.
mean? What does that mean?
It means I can hear every little thing that's happening in the universe. I can hear the birds singing in ways I've never heard them before. You know, last night, I don't know about any of you, but last night I was outside waiting for the comet to really dance across the sky. But outside last night, as I was standing there in complete darkness, it's almost as if I could now listen, I know this is crazy, but
It's
I
okay.
thought
It's
I
all
could
right.
No, no,
hear
we were outside
Yeah.
too.
I
But what?
thought I could hear the stars twinkling. I thought I could hear the universe vibrating. I thought I could feel the earth's heartbeat in that period of time. So last night, there was no magnificent thing dancing across my sky, but it gave me an opportunity to really be very present for the earth's energy, for the universe. The universe, the
Mm,
stars, the galaxies, the planets, the whatever else exists out there, it's all calling us.
mm.
It's calling us.
Let's talk about this time in particular because there is an awakening of a higher level of awareness. But from your perspective, because your work is tuning in to people's fields and the field of the planet. So what are what are you getting that's different for you? What's waking up besides the stars talking to you, which is fine, but what else? What else? No, I'm
Well,
curious because you're already open. So you're opening to another level,
I mean,
right?
wait, come on, Roland. Are the veils thinner now? Are you hearing different things than before?
look, there are absolutely amazing frequencies of energies that I'm connecting to. So I don't think the veil is thin. I think we've walked through the door. I don't think that we're on the other side of that veil. Now we're in a space where we can really tap into and have access to all of those entities and those intelligent light beings and the angels and your loved ones. You know what these are? These are magnificent frequencies of energy that exist in our universe. And it's up to us to become participants of that energy, right? Let me say one other thing. Can I say one other thing? Because
Sure.
I think the pandemic is teaching us how to really see beyond something. We're all used to looking at the world in a certain way,
Mm,
but now
automatic.
it,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
and,
Automatic.
and now it forces us to widen our viewpoint, to look at the world differently. I'm looking at you differently seated there. I looked at last night differently. I look at the way I hear the loved ones' voices differently because of this time.
Yeah, but this is you. You're a pretty advanced being. You know, you've already seen through the veils. This might be happening to some people. What do you suggest people do to get to where you
And
are?
not only that, there are a lot of people struggling. So, okay, you've got it. You feel it. The possibilities of love and connection are limitless. But what would you say to the people out there that are not able to access that and that might be struggling a bit, and why?
Yeah.
Okay, well, first, I think that the possibilities exist for everybody, whether I'm good at it or not. It's not about that.
Mhm.
It's about that possibility existing for me, for you, for anyone watching this right now. And if you become an active participant in the universal energy, in your life experience, in feeling what you're feeling and experiencing what you're experiencing, you're going to move that dial up a little bit. It does require work. You have to meditate, you have to sit quiet, you have to reconnect to nature. Not only this, guess what? We
But
have to reconnect to each other.
Right. Yes. Yes. I think it has brought families closer. I think this is part of the benefits of this time is that
like,
we
Amen.
what else
are.
could have stopped the world? The
Say that
world.
again.
What else could have stopped the entire world, this microscopic craziness? So,
It's miraculous in a way, isn't it? Like
I was
some,
just going to say that.
yes.
but
How miraculous.
It is, but there are so many people that are struggling and so many people that are feeling this huge awakening. So I think that's what we have to kind of try to understand, how we could all support each other.
Well, that's what I think you're hitting the nail on the head. It's no longer about the individual, it's about the community. It's about all of us navigating this experience together. So, you helping others, I'm helping others through the ways that we help people. And as we move forward, one of the most amazing things that I've discovered is that what the universe is doing, it's providing us a roadmap to our own personal and community evolution. And we do that by getting quiet, getting still, listening to the energy inside, listening to each other, being there, connected. Because when I'm with you, when I'm here with you and all these people that are listening, then we become part of something extraordinary. We're part of each other. And it helps us to recognize that this light and this energy that exists in us is powerful.
You know, that was true anytime you would have said that, but something different. There's a different frequency happening now on the planet. Can you describe that a little bit? What's so different about this energetic upgrade, downgrade, integration?
It's a higher frequency of energy. So here's how I see it. My mother, who passed away, is on the first floor. On the 10th floor is an angel. On the 20th floor is another being of light. And then beyond that and beyond that. So I think that these frequencies of energies are allowing us to reconnect to all of the universal. Oh boy, the whole place is full of, hang on a minute. The reason why we're here today is to reconnect to the energy that exists, and
Yeah.
that this energy has existed from the beginning of time. We're not talking about anything that's new. We're talking about intelligent light beings that have existed from before time. We're talking about this angelic wave of energy, this divine energy. It all exists at the same moment of time. And all we have to do is really find that space within ourselves to connect to it. Now, you're right, it's not a simple task, but the frequencies are higher. There's more energy. Look, here's my notebook of how high it is. Every one of these things
Wow.
tells a story. Every one of these things in this book here tells a story of how the energy is moving. It's
Wait,
moving, it's
yeah.
Yeah,
shaping.
hold it up a
Can you
little
hold
bit.
that up?
So
Is this a new book?
It's a new story of
Okay.
what of
So
what
just to
this
go, so just to go back, so you're writing a new book based on what is happening at this time and the messages that you're receiving, which you are receiving messages, aren't you?
yes.
but a
Yeah.
different level of message, right?
Yeah,
It's a
the frequency isn't the same, Alan. It's not the way, it doesn't feel like an angel is in the room. Look, I'm going to quickly say this to you that a couple of years ago, there was a moment when I was alone in my car coming back from channeling some events and some messages, and all of a sudden something changed.
right. I
It
remember
didn't
that.
feel, it didn't feel like my mother's energy, because that's different than the angelic energy. It's different than that divine energy. It's a higher ascended energy. You're reaching higher places through this level of stillness and contemplation. We have access to all of that.
So in a way, we are almost required to tap in order to tap out to these frequencies or beings that are wanting to communicate. It's not just we're going to sit here and they're going to say, okay, here's what you do, and it's that we need to be receptive. We need to
We,
open up our antennae.
we have to be active participants in the experience of this universal shift. We
Right.
have no choice. We
So
have to.
you were sitting in your car that time. There was a opening that happened that just changed your reality. You were an incredible medium. You could see dead people, talk to them, but which is great. I mean, not everyone can do that, but you went to a new place in your awareness
Yes.
and And were you surprised? Were you shocked? Did you say, "Oh my God"? I mean,
At
what?
that moment, I was in shock. At
Yeah.
that moment, I was in shock because it broadened my perspective.
Mhm.
Looking back at my life experience, I realized that I was prepping for this. I was getting ready for this new wave of energy. But I want to be clear about something, Alan and Barbara. Every frequency of energy still connects to love, though. I felt
Yeah.
love at that space. I'm sitting in my car, I feel love. I
It's
Mhm.
talked to
always
some,
love for you.
it is.
Like people would say to you, Roland, you never say anything negative, but that's
Yeah.
because your channel is tuned into love, which is really where all shifts happen, where all healings happen.
So the baseline is love, but when you get this higher frequency, it's still love, of course. But what is that difference then? I'm trying to understand. It's love, but then something else. So what is that something else
Who
and
are,
love?
yeah,
What were you going to say, Barbara?
who are these intelligence? What is this intelligence, this
And
trying
Well,
to,
and what is the difference? Love is love, some people might say. So there
yeah,
is a difference though.
it's a difference in how it feels, how it looks, how it sounds. It's a difference in how it communicates with me, how it connects to me. So it's like there are just many aspects to it. It's just so hard to define one way or another. It's just multiple levels of energy that I'm feeling in that one moment of time. And in the car, I heard these weird sounds. I felt this weird energy. I looked back and there was a being of light, different than anything I've ever felt in my life. And for 50 years, I've been feeling light. I've been feeling loved ones. But this energy, this frequency, touched me in a way that was different than anything else. What it did was, the minute I felt it, it's like it pushed everything opened inside of me. It gave me a bigger view of what I was seeing. I thought I was only seeing this, but in that moment, it stretched it out a little bit. And as I was seated in the car, I was enveloped in love because that's what I feel. But it was a higher vibration of energy that changed the way I see everything, the way I feel everything. To me, the message is clear. It's very crystal clear that they meaning the entire universal team, intelligent light beings, angels, whatever you want to call it, right? All this energy that exists there has one mission: to raise our awareness to get us back to our true perfection. That's what they're teaching us. That's what it's teaching us.
We needed that. Angels couldn't do it. Our relatives couldn't do it. Why did we need that?
because
You just answered the question yourself,
Well,
because a plumber knows how to fix the pipes. You call the electrician to fix the wiring. You call the nurse to fix the patient. So every level of energy has its own, what I would say, a support team of some kind.
we're also headed away from where we are hopefully headed to now. We were not um, quiet enough. We were headed in a way that somehow this was destined to happen. And my question to you is what happens if we don't take heed? Not in
Oh,
a dramatic way, but what is the importance
but
of
we are
this
taking
time?
heed,
Not
aren't we?
everybody. I
not
don't think.
everybody.
No,
Well,
of course not.
okay.
And
Well,
it's also harder
it's choice.
to, it's choice, but it's even harder when you're struggling. Okay, it's
Yes.
easy to say this when we're all blessed. So I'm just saying, what is the importance to somehow for everyone to be present and make some kind of a shift now? And what are we screwed if we don't?
Well, we got to get with the program. It
Mhm.
doesn't matter what ILB, I'm an intelligent light being, angel, loved one, guide, guardian, ascended master, teacher. It doesn't matter. We've got to get with the program. We've got to get ourselves back to where we are, because I believe in me, in you, in all of us is this place of perfection, as it is in those intelligent light beings, as it is in the universe. There's perfection in that space. We have to remember that part of us. I think we forgot.
So you're saying the angels couldn't get us there, all those divine beings that we've lived with for thousands of years. There had to be a shift, which you experience and lots of people are, to this other vibration if we were really going to get with the program, as you say, or connect to the consciousness that we really are.
That's exactly it. You know, the only way to reach that consciousness is to now rediscover this new connection that exists for all of us. The other thing I find very fascinating about the things I've discovered over the last few months and a couple of years is that they all seem to, it's all interacting with each other. It's not one or the other, Alan. That's not how I see it. There's an interaction or a connection that exists between all these places. And so that's
But
how
there's
I've been
something
feeling.
new. You're saying there's a new frequency that's hitting humanity, all of us.
That we've
Yep.
walked the door, Roland said.
And well, we're in the door,
We're
right?
in the door. We're in the door. We've walked. We're kind of
Doorway.
in the doorway. And so,
Right.
but for though, I always want to talk to people that are wanting some kind of guidance. And so, again, I know we talk about meditation and stillness, and that could be whatever it is to that person. It could be lying on the ground. It could be being quiet. It could be walking in nature. But are there any other tips?
Well,
Because a lot of people that are struggling and feeling a lot of conflicting emotions.
I think it's time to change the way we move forward. We have to change the way we see things. We have to change our thinking. We have to remember how powerful we are, how connected we are. And in those moments when we get there, and I'm not saying to you or anybody else that this is an easy process.
Mhm.
There are people probably still behind the veil. There are people at the threshold of change. There are people who step through the door whose empathic abilities have heightened, and there are people who are ascended moving along. We're all in different places. So we have to meet where we are. We have to do what we can where we are, and we have to reconnect to those things that are happening inside of us that give us the opportunity to step forward. Go ahead, Alan.
No, you finish. No, you finish
finish.
because I wanted us. I'll hold that thought.
All I'm saying is that the power to change is within each individual, and it requires an action plan.
Action. Talk about that.
Talk about that. Yes.
You need action. You can no longer just say, I love you. You have to show that love. You can no longer say, I believe. You have to demonstrate your faith. You can't just say things any longer. You have to have a plan of action. So when my clients say to me, well, I remember this one lady who had been working so hard on something. And she said, well, I tried it for a week. I tried meditating for a week. A week isn't enough. You need to get invested in yourself, in the connection. I often think of the book, The Alchemist, because the author says the universe is there to help you succeed.
Mm-hmm.
We have to step forward. What were you going to say? I'm sorry.
No, you brought up another idea in a way. We have to succeed. We have to step forward. The thing that I think people might have a problem is we're stepping forward, just like this whole crisis, into the unknown.
Yes.
Very exciting for some or very fearful for others. But I find let's go into the unknown with a possibility of limitlessness.
I mean, look, Roland, your whole life changed. Your whole life was you were in front of huge audiences. You were on a certain trajectory that totally switched.
But you've completed that. I think that's why it switched.
But were you open to that? Were you listening and allowing yourself to be redirected? Yeah. You were not saying, oh my God, what am I going to do? I can't,
Well, there was a little stress at first, for sure. There was a little stress at first. I'm human. I have to pay the mortgage. I get things, there was a little bit of that tension. But when I let that tension go, that limitless feeling inside of me was palpable.
Well, that's great advice for people. That just what you said there.
And also, if you're tense, you cannot, he's overwhelmed.
No,
when you're tense, you cannot receive the messages. It's
No,
hard energy to flow through. So what you would say to people is whatever it is that relaxes you, apart from a quart of gin or whatever, like do it. Like do
I don't know
whatever it
about the
takes.
gin.
And
No,
if
no.
I'm saying no, I said don't do that. To do whatever it takes, and don't even judge yourself if it's not what it should be. Some people don't want to sit for half an hour and meditate. Do it for 5 minutes. Go lie on the grass. Go ground. Whatever it is, just but like you said, take some action.
action. This is a time of action. We've been afforded an opportunity to take action. In our stillness, in our quietness, we've been afforded the opportunity to stop the old way of being and step into what the universe, what spirit, whatever you want to call it, has to present you, because it's there working on your behalf. It's there trying to help you along.
You know, you mentioned, which I don't know if everyone out there knows, that Roland just had his book Blessings by Roland, but the last one was Signs of Spirit, and in the back were purple papers. And people across the country, the world, I would imagine, were found messages. They were guided and found those messages. And so here's another way of connecting, not in person. And can you talk about that just for a second, about the impact that that's had?
Well, I think that it's so amazing. The publisher said to me, "Can you put a few purple papers in the back of the book that you feel are meant for someone out there in the world?" And I said, "Sure." So I sat with that
Describe the
energy.
purple paper. I don't think people listening know exactly what your purple papers are.
The purple papers are pre-written messages that I hear from loved ones about who they were, what their lives were about, what their relationships were about, that define who that person was. And so I write them on 11 by 17 purple papers. I go out there and present them to the world, and the world decides if it's theirs. Well, when the
And you
publisher,
had stacks of these
And
papers
someone
that,
says, "Oh my God, that's my father, my aunt, my grandfather."
like, they just know, and you've been carting around, schlepping around, like these papers from like 15, 20 years ago, and I have been in the room when it's someone's paper. And so there's also that degree of divine timing that we
sure.
cannot also, we have to take action, but we also have to ask for it to be in our highest and best good and to come gracefully. Because if we push too much, then that's not always right also.
No, I think there's a balance in all those things that you're saying. Absolutely.
You get these messages, you write it down. People come to your sessions and say, "Oh my God, I was there. I brought someone, and it was her aunt was there, and she wasn't even expecting to come, and yet there was a message
Yeah.
directly from her aunt."
Yeah,
So,
well, in the back of that book, there are purple papers, and there have been 3 of them that have been delivered precisely to the person in need. Now, I'm going to tell you just one quick little thing. To the woman who received a purple, listen to this. This is how amazing that universe works. This is how amazing the universe is, right? I write a paper years ago, probably 2012. I put it in the book because I felt like it belonged in the back of the book. A lady reaches out to me from Georgia. She said, "That's my father." I talked with her on the phone. I said, "Oh my God, it is your father." That lady's father lived in the same town my mother lived in
oh, wow.
and worked at the same mill my mother worked in. So this is how the universe works. It's so mysterious, it's so extraordinary, and it does amazing things and allows us to make amazing connections.
No, I just want to say you could connect the purple paper guidance to what's happening with this crisis. In a way, you could say it's one giant purple paper. Or
Yeah,
would you make that connection
I
in this?
would, May. I would say that. I would agree with you.
And what would that purple paper say?
Well, this it would say to us that this is your opportunity, that we're giving you a roadmap to evolve, to ascend, to raise your consciousness, to see it differently. The purple paper would say, you know what it really would say? It would say to you, "I've been waiting for you. I've
Uh,
been waiting for you to hear me, to feel me, to see me." Me being the universe, the intelligent life, all of that that exists in that space, it would say, I have been waiting for you, is what it
They've
would say.
been waiting on us to hear us, but they had to knock us over the head with a wake up call, or else we wouldn't have been listening. And, right? I mean,
Isn't that the way it always
Isn't
is?
there an easier way to do this? Like it's,
obviously, there wasn't.
I know. I just would like you to tell them that we are listening and we'd like an easier way to do this.
Wait, so
If
go
you
ahead.
look back at history, history will tell you that we haven't been listening. Go back in our human history. We haven't been listening. We
That's right.
haven't been paying attention. And not only this, we haven't been standing in our truth. All right? We haven't.
It was my favorite George Bernard Shaw quote was, what we learn from history is we learn nothing from history.
Wow.
But when you say we haven't been standing in our truth, is it that our egos have taken over, or we've just gotten so far away from our
Both.
from nature and our true nature?
All
Because
of it.
Look at the mess of the world. Look at the greed and the, corporate and
Oh,
the
my.
racism, and everything that's wrong is coming to the surface now. It has to.
It has no choice but to boil up to the surface so that we all have a chance to look at it, so that we can move and step forward to the next whatever, right? To the next experience.
But Roland, you did say to me, and I that the time is now. Like we really, and listen, I'm talking to myself too, because even in, being quarantined, you can still get caught up, and that almost like a daily reminder to stop. Like, what is going on? We really need to take heed.
Well, that's what we did. We stopped, right?
No, but it
We-
doesn't matter because some people haven't, and we still have to challenge ourselves, because if we don't listen, I think it's going to get more challenging.
I agree with you. I think the time is right now.
To
We
do
are
what? To
to
Tap
stand
into
still, to stop fighting, to find that space within ourselves, to find that perfection within ourselves, to see that we are a reflection of the entire universal energy, that we are, that the intelligent life, the angelic life, the divine life, whatever it is part of us.
right.
And
I
if we
think,
say, go ahead.
yeah. No,
Well,
you're
do
right.
you?
But go.
I'm
No, I
sorry.
just
No.
had a question from someone listening
Oh yeah. So we're
online.
doing some Q&A. Go
But,
ahead.
but I also have a lot to ask you as well. This woman, Jean, who's been listening to a lot of my shows, she's been a good friend, I feel like. But she says, last week I woke up basically hearing the earth is taking a new path and seeing the path of earth splitting and the earth veering off to the left on another path. Have you gotten this message?
Okay, now that's, can you give me one
Yeah.
second?
Yes,
Give me a second.
please.
Give me a second.
No, because this is what we're tuning into, the big purple papers.
Well, there has been, let me see, I just have to find it, which might take a
But
second.
that's okay. Take your time, because this is, if you've gotten something like this, there's, like you say, no coincidences, and it's all
I
about.
want to validate for that woman that what she experienced was real,
Mhm.
because I had been getting very similar messages. This one was on June 7th, about how things were splitting apart and how things were changing. And if we didn't take these steps forward, that the earth would suffer, that we lost the rhythmic flow of who we are as human beings. I mean, so good for you, Jean, because what you're feeling is absolutely real. None of that is negative. It's a positive time of change.
Well, that's great, that, because I think she is a visionary too. But like when you get a vision like that, the earth splitting, all that, there's no one except someone like you or us or some to talk to about that. I mean, but you've confirmed that.
I mean,
Well,
how do you?
What-
I'm just going
what
to
he-
veer off for a
But
second.
he
Is
had
that
something?
sorry.
What, did you have something else to add to that?
No, go ahead. No.
No, I want to know how people, if you have offerings, people need to be connected to people like you. They need support.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And so just because we're here with you and you're awesome, what are you offering? How can people be a part of your community?
I think the best thing to do is to go to facebook.com blessings by Roland. that's where all the information gets posted. I have YouTube things and websites and all that, but it's all there. I do free weekly meditations multiple times during the week for people because they need, I think we all need to gather together to push through where we are, to take that next step forward.
Mm.
So you do 3 weekly meditations, which is incredible. And then everyone on the call, I think, are very happy to know that this is
Okay.
exists.
Well,
Very
that's
Someone
awesome.
asked the question. It's a little fear-based. I don't know if I want to go into that, but what do you think about the conspiracies behind all this stuff, the virus and Trump and
Uh,
all? I mean, I don't really go there, but is there anything
it's
to say?
not, I'm going to stay in the space that supports my understanding.
And that's
Yes.
I think you just made an important point, because it is a question of what we're focusing on,
Mhm.
Yeah.
and that's a rabbit hole. And I think what we focus on builds.
That's right.
Yes.
So your answer is actually great. If that's going on, it's going on. But how do we want to be
Yeah, and do we
present in the
want
world?
to like dive into that negative, like,
Yeah.
it's all a conspiracy, they're doing this to us, or do we want to take charge and say,
Exactly.
no, let's make a better world?
Yeah. We're building
That's the Mother Teresa. Are we going to focus on love,
yeah, or
or
not.
then let's focus on love.
But
Yeah, we're building a new foundation is what we're
yeah,
doing for
Exactly.
humanity.
thank
This
you.
is without a doubt the roadmap to human evolution. We have an opportunity here to step out of the old paradigms, the old way of thinking, the old way of being, and stepping out forward.
I have to say, Roland, you could agree. Doesn't he look great? Doesn't he look like you look younger than when I
You
saw you?
do look young.
Hello. Thanks
What's
a
the way?
lot.
Did those like did those intelligent light beings have some special serum? You better share.
I,
No.
I, I do have a
Come
question
on,
from
Roland.
someone named Becca C. What are the flashes over my house at night? My kids see it also for 3 years now. I live around some special rocks. Do you get anything?
Well, I think my gut feeling tells me that she may be near some kind of vortex or special vibrational space, because I think like where you guys are sitting, there's a lot of special energy there. I can sense
Oh,
that,
it,
right?
it
It's
Really.
amazing.
And
feels really good.
if you walked out to where you're seated behind you and go to your left, which would be
Like
Barbara's direction. Yep.
Mhm.
There's some Barbara's side. There's some real strong energy down there, right? So if we walked,
I think it's where I put the bench.
yeah. So somewhere in that
Oh my
direction.
God! And there's a configuration of 4 trees, and you can
Yes.
sit in the middle.
Yeah. There's something very powerful there. If you're going to do, I don't want to not answer this woman's question. I
No, that's
will,
okay.
but the feeling is that space behind you to the left holds some energy, right? And
Mhm.
if you did a gathering in that space, you would feel the intelligent life force. You would feel this vibration of energy.
Is it
Okay.
down the hill a little bit though? Is it down or is it?
Well, without seeing it, it's hard
Yeah.
to make that assessment. But my feeling is over Barbara's right shoulder,
Yes, yes.
down that way.
Got it.
Okay.
Got it. And I
Okay.
know exactly where it is. And I
Okay.
put a bench there. And then I realized 2 days ago that the little circle of trees behind the bench is holding a very powerful energy.
Now,
let,
can I
go
get
ahead.
back
Go
to
ahead,
that
Roland.
lady's thing,
Yes,
question?
please.
I think there really is some energy that she's sensing. And if her kids are seeing it, maybe her kids are more sensitive to the energy that's passing through. Maybe they're more sensitive to the frequencies of energies that are passing through. So for me, from my vantage point, I would celebrate that connection and I would learn from it and grow from it and see what else comes from that. I wouldn't be afraid of it, that's for sure.
Yes.
But someone has a question.
Yeah.
Can you ask him if he asks for the team to come in and raise his frequencies, or does it come and go like emotion? So I think what she's saying is,
Oh, it's a great question.
a great, and that was Thayer. Awesome question, Thayer.
So that moment I had, and let me step back for a minute. When I was a kid, those moments came automatically. They were just happening. I felt them. It's kind of progressed over the years, but in the car, I didn't ask for anything. I wasn't looking for anything. It was there. It was there. It was not based on my emotion. I think it was probably based on my readiness to go on this next wave of change and discovery and ascension and awareness. So, I don't know if it's based on emotion necessarily, but it certainly is based on someone's readiness to explore what exists there.
Like
Yeah.
Roland, when you, I'm so sorry,
No,
Alan.
it's okay.
When you, this is a nightmare of the joke. When you,
No, it's
it's fine.
okay.
When you, wait, I have one question. When you feel a dip, you're human, you're going along, you're up there with the beings and and now all of a sudden, yeah, you're not just feeling so great. What do you do at that moment? Like right now, right? What do you do?
What I do in that moment is I take myself out of the place that I'm in, mentally, emotionally, physically, and spiritually. Physically take myself out. So if I'm inside the house, I go outside, I walk the dog. Because the dog teaches me how to be mindful, very mindful. I go outside and I know this is so cliched, but I go out and smell the flowers. I remember who I am. I remember what I am. I remember the spark of energy that exists in me. I remember that. So I force myself really to get out of that space that I'm in at that
Like when
particular
kids are
moment.
in school, if there's a fire, stop, drop, and roll. It's like,
You-
like lie on the grass, stop, drop, and roll.
but you know what you're saying? What I'm getting is these other intelligent beings have made you, my impression, more human. They've gotten in, there's a greater humanity that comes through when we meet these other beings,
Oh my
greater
gosh.
possibilities,
but more human. It taps us into a bigger part of who we are as human
which is
beings.
our
That I agree with
yeah.
you. I absolutely agree with that statement.
Right.
One of the things that I've learned is my own personal humanity as a result of this connection. And I realized through this connection that it's absolutely uh, limitless, that everything is accessible now more than ever, even more
That
than
woman
ever.
who saw the light says that she's had seen many different things since her near-death experience 6 years ago. Um, so there is something that opens up with people who've had near-death experiences, and
I agree. I
yeah,
had one, so I totally agree with that
That's
at 30 years ago. So
that's opened you up.
it took me to another level, right? Again, it's all back to reaching different levels of energy. As I said, the loved ones are on one frequency, our angels are on another, the divine guides are on another, and then these intelligent light beings are on another.
so we talk about the intelligent light beings, and we know the Pentagon has released something recently that yes, in fact, there are things that are much bigger than us, and and to be aware of that possibility without fear, because it really doesn't involve fear, and this is Alan's territory.
Well,
Well, I
yeah,
is
I mean, we've talked about this, me and Roland. I'm encouraging him. This is your time, Roland, to give, not right now, maybe, but the world wants to know this higher dimensional connection. Because when you have bridged this pathway, like you've done with people who've crossed over, you've helped them realize this is not the only thing. This is the next level
Yes,
for humanity to realize we're not the only ones.
we are not alone.
Right.
We are not alone uh, at all. And there's this whole other uh, space that we can communicate with, that we can connect with, that we can learn from, and we can gain insight about stuff from.
Mm. So let's
That
talk about those power spots, like that woman by the rocks. I feel, and that's placed
the
by
place right
barbers.
here.
If we go there, it seems like maybe the veils are thinner in these vortex areas that we can make contact easier.
Yeah, I don't want to leave the impression that you have to go somewhere to make the connection, right? There are certain places,
Right.
hot spots, hot spiritual spots that have a lot of energy. If you go to those places, you can access maybe the energy a little bit more freely, because when you step into them, you begin to feel it tangibly, you can feel the energy differently. So I bet that when you walk down to that spot and
I
you stand in that spot, your hair raises a little bit. You feel something in here. you feel a shift inside because you're walking through something at that moment.
But Roland, what I've heard you say, and I see it on your videos and you're outside smelling flowers, is that uh, the earth and nature are really calling to us. They're showing us, look, we could heal really quickly. So can you, with kindness and love. And so I think the more we connect with nature in whatever way, the more we heal. And then the more it's the way the trees give us oxygen. It's that give and take
Mhm.
of the collective. So I think that it's just important for us to be very connected to, I'm saying nature, but to the planet right now.
The planet, nature, they're our partners in this
Right.
Yeah,
experience.
they
'Cause
are.
we're made of nature and the earth.
And so
Yes.
many people are afraid. So, but I'd say just go outside if you can, find a place, even if you're in a city, find a park, find a tree, find something because it really helps to ground you and connect
Right.
you.
You know,
Are you
it
getting,
sounds,
are you
it's,
getting messages too over there? You're
yes,
looking,
yeah.
what are they saying?
I want to answer this
Yes,
though.
please. Yes.
Um, it sounds so simplistic to go sit outside, but it's important.
Not
You know, it's not simplistic. Do you know why it's not simplistic? Because for us to change our thoughts and change where we are in a certain moment of time takes a lot of effort sometimes. So if you're in a bad way, in a difficult situation, or you're feeling depressed or lonely or
yeah,
emotional, it's hard to get out of that space.
very.
So this is not simplistic. It's not simple to step out of one space to go to another, but I know that it's critical to do it and it will change how you
I agree
feel.
100%. I hope all of you just take the time to do that.
What are you getting on your messages there? Do you want to read anything that
So
you're getting?
it's back to the stories of us forgetting, human beings or humanity forgetting who we are. It's very emotional.
It
We've
is.
forgotten who we are, right?
Yes, yes,
And
yes.
and while I'm here with you, it gets stronger and stronger that we have forgotten who we are.
This,
And the
are
only
you getting a
reason
message in downloads that we saying this? Is that what you're coming?
something's happening right here at the top of my head, that's when I know things are shifting and changing. And
Uh-huh.
if I was quiet and without any Zoom stress, maybe
Do you want to
that
take a moment to just tune in and kind of bring through something? We have
I want to say to you that the message is about forgetting who we are. It's what it's about. I
Mhm.
know that the light out there, the universal light, the intelligent light beings, they're working on our behalf. It's not one or the other. It's not one thing or another. It's not one energy or frequency or another. It's a cooperation between all energies. That's what's happening. And we have to remember that that exists, that there is the evolution of light. And I, as we move forward, we're going to step through the doorway to something extraordinary. And that evolution of light is standing there. Those
Uh,
beings of light are simply
oh.
there to guide us.
Wait, did you just get that
Yeah, he did.
now?
He did. Let him
Just
talk.
at
Hey,
this
I'm
second,
listening.
hey,
Go ahead.
you know, this is going to, they're here right now. Wherever you are, they are present. It's not one or the other any longer. It's about the collectiveness of all of it. It's everything. The frequencies are changing. Get ready. The vibration is shifting. Get ready. Humanity is at the crossroads of something extraordinary. Get ready.
That gives me chills,
Me too,
actually.
Get
really.
ready. Get ready. Get ready. Look, let me say something else to you.
Please.
I have been waiting to talk to you. I have been waiting to talk to you since 1989. I have been waiting to talk to you. I've been waiting to tell you that your evolution is now. 1990, 1993, I sat by your side trying to get you to be inspired. All these moments waiting for you. The consciousness of humanity is changing. We have an opportunity to raise our vibration with it. That's the opportunity they're giving us. It's giving us. We're evolving and changing. We have to get with it. We have to get with it. We have to get with it.
It brings tears to my eyes.
We have to get with it. Hang on. Ah, oops, almost fell.
Please.
This is about leaving the dark space behind. It's about all of us. It's about all of you coming into the light. We're simply there to be light, to guide you, to ignite a new energy inside of you. You are being born, birthed into a new time, a time of expansion and evolution, a time of change. Standing behind you, standing around you, standing with you are these magnificent beings of light, simply on a mission to help you see them. You know, there have been people in the world who said to me, I can't see God, but you believe God is there. People have said, I can't see my mother who died, but I know she's there. And people have said to me, I believe in the angels, Archangel Michael. I don't see Archangel Michael, but I know he's there. Now I'm saying to you, there's another beautiful frequency of energy. Though you can't see mom or God or spirit, maybe, it's going to take the same kind of something inside of you to see this. You're going to have to stretch yourselves just a little bit more. You're going to have to change the way you see things. You got to step beyond the old. And you have to become what we see in you. We're here to teach you. And we will learn from you. We're here to be your partner. The whole place is changed. You know, when they come, it comes, it changes you one breath at a time. Each time they're present with you, something inside that was hurting or unsettled eases for a moment. Each time you step closer to that energy, to the energy, something inside of you gets stronger. My whole life has been about a conversation with the universe. The whole thing, from the beginning till now. And each level, each frequency, each awareness, each aspect of it, it's drenched in light. There's no dark space. Oh, hold on. Come on. Come on.
We're there. We're getting there.
Come on.
Bring it in. Bring it in. Come on, baby.
It is about the light. It's all about light. It's about the light. So why wouldn't they be called intelligent light beings? Oh, or the council of light, or the ascenders of light. Because, by the way, they're all in here, waiting to tell their stories. Hang on. The second you're there, you'll never forget it. You won't forget the feeling. Because somehow that energy, that light, it pierces through the darkness that exists inside of us, and it pierces the darkness of humanity. That's what light does. That's what love does. So let's journey towards the light together, united. That's why you're here.
I want to say one quick thing. Roland, I had a not guys there, and I hope other people experience what I did. I wasn't feeling my tip top,
When just now?
just before the call, whatever, life is life. And through this transmission, because it was a transmission, Roland, my I feel amazing. I felt the shift. My whole body is vibrating.
Well, that's what I was going to say too. You just introduced us, or some of, and me, to the frequency of these light beings. I mean, I felt it, but you crystallized it. So the sense I got listening to this transmission is my connection to those beings. Thank you for the introduction.
Listen, I hope it was as good for you as it was for me, because I'm feeling amazing, Roland.
I want to read something to you.
Yes.
Shadows appear, the energy will appear. They are not illusions. There are gateways or doorways, a threshold that separates us no longer exists. Everything is wide open, every part of you, all the way down to the molecular level of you, is touching light. That's what this is about. That's all of this. There's so much energy right now, you're just going to have to give me a second.
No, take your time. We have all day, and people are hanging on line. They're
Because-
really loving it too.
And everyone on this group call, we're all in this together. We're all healing and raising our vibration together.
There is a collective vibration that's being brought through now as the sun is going down and the grass is glowing in green, and you're bringing through this other level of consciousness that we're all vibrating to.
We are vibrating to it.
My
We
hands
are.
are like on fire. And I want to just say for people that got on the call that blessingsbyroland.com, that you are offering meditations 3 times a week, because we do all need to be together and support each other.
But right now, we could just, like, if we just stick with this moment of vibration,
Yeah.
I feel like the crown is opening up, and the reality is actually shifting.
Every part of us on a molecular level is changing. Every part of us, every cell in our body, every organ in our body, every aspect of our emotion, every aspect of our mental health, every aspect of our physical body is shifting right now. It's shifting now.
And this is just the beginning of the beauty that we're going to be meeting, is my feeling.
This is the beginning. The shadows are leaving. There's this beautiful experience about to take place. So listen, you have a choice here. You have an option to step into it or to stay where you are. But
And
I know,
how do people step into it? Can you just tell them?
but I know that stepping into it will change how you see everything. This is not simple. This is not easy, as I said already. Listen, you keep asking me, you two, for a 1, 2, 3 steps to do something. That's unrealistic. I don't care who you speak to. Because the human experience, our human mind is so powerful, it's so strong. right? It holds us back and it sets us free all at the same time. What I'm asking the people to do is to do some of the things we've mentioned already, to really reconnect to each other in nature. All I'm not going to repeat them again because they're real things. And when you do them, when you become reinvested in the experience and you become a partner with the energy that exists in the universe, I'm saying this because I believe it and I know it with all my heart, that if you become a partner with that energy, then you have exactly what this whole show is about: limitless possibilities. That's what I know. They're still here, by the way. And you
Mm.
know how I know that? I visualize them with my third eye. I have this. What happens to me is that my heart just, it expands. Like I feel like there's nothing in my way.
And that didn't happen when you were just talking to people who've crossed over in that
No,
way.
that's a different feeling.
This
Oh,
is
It's
a
a,
whole expansion beyond that kind of
yes,
feeling.
it goes beyond my body, you know, it goes beyond me. Though I got to say, talking to the loved ones is magnificent and beautiful too. This is a different kind of beauty, a different kind of energy. That's what this is. There are multiple frequencies of energy that we can communicate with and connect with, but you have to take a step. That step is sitting quiet, being mindful, all those things that people have been preaching forever. They really work.
Someone asked Max, my friend Max asked, what about the people who want to cling to the old? What happens? And not that we
well, then
even
they,
want to think about it, but he wants to know. I mean, I don't think we have to go there because why even contemplate it? But what do you say?
Well, look, I have something to say about that. I
Mhm.
think the way that we look at this is that we shine our light, that we stand tall and we stand in our understanding. And maybe they'll gravitate to that energy when it's right for them. When, you know, as we all know, we're not here to judge where someone's at. We're supposed to meet them where they're at and really become partners with them. And maybe with a little bit of time, effort, and energy, they will grow too. I mean, it's just remarkable. That's a great question, though. It's a
Right.
great thought.
I want to say when we were feeling you bringing through that transition, and you still are a little bit, we were feeling, I was
I,
feeling you feel that. And if we stay in that space, even without Roland here,
right.
and,
Don't go, Roland.
and
Wait.
emanate that, we are bringing in this greater consciousness of light. And so we have to encode that feeling into us so we can then live that. It's not easy, and it's simple but not easy, but
But
we can do it. We've just
You
felt,
just did it.
yes, we
it
just did
actually,
it.
we just did it. It totally shifted my reality, my experience. Even though this space that I'm in now, I've been in a lot,
Yeah,
doesn't mean you don't dip down.
right.
And I think sometimes a walk is okay and grounding, and sometimes you just need to be with someone like you. That's the way it is.
Yeah,
And whatever it takes.
yeah. Look, Alan, you said something very profound just then. You said the greater consciousness of light.
Yeah.
That's what this is all about. That's what this is. It's the evolution of the light. And if we evolve with it, if we grow with it and expand into it, then we become, again, partners in that experience of light. It's very powerful. They're still hanging around. The energy is still here. It's not as strong, but it's still here. Maybe if we had a lot of time, we could walk to it, but it's still here somehow. Um,
I want to wait for this helicopter to pass, but how often do they come? I mean, are you starting to bathe in this energy more frequently every day? I mean, how are you relating to this?
I relate and communicate with it, with all of it every day. I don't start my day without a connection to it, without remembering. See, here's what I'm going to do later on. And this might be for all of you that are listening. I'm going to remember what happened here today. I'm going to remember that feeling. So if I can't get to it on my own, my memory allows me to go into a space again. So I'll remember that
We're,
feeling.
We're remembering
we're
the whole,
reminding
this is
each
it.
other. Yes, because
Okay.
I'm
it
going to
was
look
a
at him and say, yo,
it
Roland.
was a palpable feeling.
I'm still enjoying
But
it.
anyway, so what were you saying, Roland? Sorry.
I forgot. It is a palpable feeling. It is a palpable experience, but I forgot what I was going to say.
No, you were saying you're going to remember this feeling,
Oh,
even if you
thank
can't
you.
get to
Yeah.
it. Yes.
Yeah. So when I get into a bad spot, and trust me, I've been in a few bad spots. You know, people think guys like me don't get into bad spots. You get into bad spots. It's just the way it is. It's part of the human experience. How
Yeah.
long I stay in that spot is now the most exciting thing.
And what
Because
you
I don't stay long in that spot. I go back to remembering that moment when I was sitting in the, hear me out, sitting in the car 2 years ago, and this, see,
You got it. You got it back. Go
That's
for
good.
it.
the light filled the car.
Mhm.
And I've been feeling light my whole life. But this light was a higher a consciousness of that energy.
Mhm.
And it didn't do one thing, it did everything in that moment. It gave me everything in that moment.
Mhm.
And it touched every part of me in that moment. And when we come here, right now, we can remember that light.
You see, I think you
So
just
gentle.
answered this question where this woman says, just go to God. But I think what you're saying is there's maybe a refresher of this God force or something. There's something new.
Well, I'm not going to argue with that woman's perspective because
I know.
I
Whatever gets you there.
I believe that exists. I believe in God.
Right.
And I believe that God has this amazing team.
Like, go back to the car.
Yeah, go back
back,
because you were starting to get
Yeah,
there.
go back to the car.
You were starting to tap into something that
God
was like a
almighty.
frequency. And
I don't know. We'll see how it goes. We'll see if it comes back.
but when you need to get back, you remember that time in the car, and the car was filled with light, and that opened. Was starting to feel it too, and
Yeah, it opened everything. I'm not there now. We'll see how it goes in the next few minutes if it finds its way back.
So, Roland,
Yeah.
if we just take a moment now, just to be calm and quiet, do you feel the group that's with you now? Do you feel
Yes.
this particular group?
This
And
energy.
is there anything that comes specifically, or any feeling? What does it feel like, or anything you want
Yeah.
to say for this
I,
group?
I don't know how to answer that because it makes me feel complete. It makes me feel connected. I want to go back to the God thing though, because
yeah,
I think it's important.
because I shifted. I think something shifted about God. Let's say.
It's how we see God.
Yeah.
God didn't change. It's how we interact with that energy, that being that's changed. We changed. It's up to us to go forward, even in our relationship with God. So when that woman says, go to God, our relationship changed. My relationship changed. I still believe in God, even though I feel all this energy. And I always go to the top in my prayers. I always go where I have to go. But my relationship with all of this has changed. All of it.
Let me see if I can connect back to these beings because I was feeling this download, the light coming through me, this feeling of expansion and goodness. Do you feel like the goodness, the pouring out of this? It's love, but it's like love and kindness.
It's not love, but it's love, period.
But there's something
No,
more
but
than what's been called love.
It's expansion. It's
It-
everything just opens up.
in that car,
Bigger feeling for me. It's not but it's
in
bigger.
the
Yeah.
in the car, driving home from an event, of seeing people go through what they went through, feeling the emotion of that. And then all of a sudden, there's this sound in my car, this feeling in my car. I pull over to the side of the road. It's pitch dark and I'm on some back road somewhere. And all of a sudden, I'm being infused with this love, this energy. And I sat there and I knew that it was reaching every aspect of me. Nothing was silent and nothing was quiet. It was power. And then I looked in my rearview mirror. I didn't tell you this yet. I looked in the rearview mirror and I saw that light streaming, and it changed how I see everything. So when I need to find that space, I go back to the car. I go back to those precious moments where that connection exists. We're not really there though. We lost the connection somewhere.
with the God thing. No,
I still feel it.
no.
I still feel
I
it,
still feel
I
it
think
too.
that it's up to us to be receptive, to be that antenna, to keep on being
Here's what I
doing it.
here's what I think we should do.
Okay.
I think we should come on again, not now, not today, not and just specifically do that. Go
Yeah,
to the car and
yeah,
forget about interviewing me and having a conversation. Let's
yes.
just go there. I mean, it might take a few minutes, it might take a little time to get there, but I think we should do that.
Let's
And I
do it.
think we should,
What are you
Can
doing
we do it this
Sunday?
Sunday? We
Sunday,
have to be together.
right here,
I don't know, I'll have to check.
because I think people would like to also continue this
Yeah,
online.
it's a great feeling, and I think the momentum would be wonderful.
I'll let you know. I'll look at my schedule and see what's happening Sunday.
Of course, we could do these weekly dialogues here to, because what you're bringing through is a kind of reminder of the frequency.
Yeah.
And
And I think it's more about like less interviewing. We've done that, been there, but still go to blessingsbyroland.com um, and still get his new book, which is Signs of Spirit. But I think kind of just going in and being there.
yeah,
And then if there are certain questions that come up, whatever, then that's fine.
it's about being in it together. And
Yes,
brought us there.
it's no longer about the individual, it's about the community. And you, Alan, and I, and Barbara, we have a responsibility to assist our community. We have a responsibility to create unity within that community of that greater consciousness of light. That's what we have to do. It's what we are really meant to do.
But let me just ask you one more question as we
Sure.
go into a future that seems like we're going through a tunnel as a vision, and this coming into light. It feels like there a lot of the answers we've been looking for centuries might be there. Is that true? Do you get
That
that?
is absolutely true.
Mm.
That's absolutely true, that the answers are going to be there. You know, I often believe that the answers are already here, but we need to go on the journey to find them for some reason. I think they're here around us, but you're right. It's we're walking, taking a journey towards and through the light to get the answers that we need, that humanity needs. It's not about one country, it's humanity needs a little boost. And that's what's happening.
And this is like a graduation for the old humanity. It's like,
Yes.
yeah.
Yes. I love that.
I mean, it's like that's the two worlds, and not everyone wants to graduate. Some people like to be left back for a grade.
But it's like the butterfly. It's the butterfly. It's like the more of us that do it, the higher the consciousness and the easier it will be for others, right? As far as our responsibility.
Yeah. You know, the caterpillar had no idea it was going to become a butterfly. It did not have any idea at all. We have no idea what this journey will do, but if we take it, I know, at least from my own personal experience, that there's a greater awareness of light and that we can access and connect to and learn from and grow
And
from.
the caterpillar thought the world was ending,
Yes.
and it became this magnificent creature. So we have to all imagine together and
Yeah.
to feel it together. And you know, Alan and I will be emailing you about Sunday. No pressure. And,
if it works.
only if it works, but you know.
Yeah,
But
for
no,
sure.
but a lot, I think what you're saying is so important that I don't think people even realize the impact that means, because there's a lot of old spirituality
Yes.
Totally.
that is cliche. It
Yeah.
never really worked.
It's ego based.
And it's become just something you say, and it's become like meaningless in a sense.
Well, I'm not sure if I totally agree with that,
Okay.
because some people have grown as a result of that. Maybe a little bit. Maybe the language is, whatever. But I think some people have grown because of it. Now, I
That's
agree. It's
Stepping.
over with.
It was
It,
stepping stones to this.
yeah, that's all it was, a stepping stone. It's time for the new wave of change. It's time for it now. And again, I'm going to coin your greater consciousness of light, because I think that's really what this
good.
is. It's an awareness of that light.
But you know what's so exciting about this is that it's unknown. People
Yes.
want to know, and they fear the unknown, but they're only projecting what they know onto what they don't.
I think it's exciting. I think it's very exciting. The unknown to me, obviously for me, it's not as frightening, but I'm excited to see where we go together and what we can achieve together and how we can see humanity change through this new understanding, through this new consciousness. I mean, I shared with Barbara, it's so clear to me now. I'm painting that universe. I'm
Well, do you
painting
have
these.
any of those paintings nearby? Because,
No, not here.
but it's
But
layering.
it's powerful. It's so visual. It's so powerful to me that it has changed the way I see everything.
Mm.
So
It's like, could you just drop into a place where you are that being? You're so close to it. I'm feeling like you don't have
you're
to,
right.
but you're like,
I
it's like
you're right.
drop, like, I'm not telling you, to do, but just like,
Stop, drop, and roll.
no, just rolling. No, but it's like that place of purity is like coming through. I feel it.
But I really want to be able to set the stage for it.
We're gonna do that.
This
Right.
is not the stage for it. I mean, it came out naturally for
I know.
sure.
We'll
But I
set
want
the stage.
And
We will
Roland,
set the
I
stage.
do believe because of your heart-centered, your dedication to spirit and to others, that this is coming through in a profound way through you. And yes, we could all get it, but you are a vehicle. And I want to thank you because my experience tonight is so beautiful,
Oh, good.
so really so special. And I'm thanking you from everyone on this call because I hear their applause. And we will get back. We're going to let you go. We're not going back to the car tonight. Sorry. And
Were we ever in the car? Roland was in the car. I don't know where you were.
I was in the car.
You were knocking on the window. I could see you.
Right.
You were so close to coming in the car.
Gene just
Oh,
says
right.
it goes beyond community. We affect the universes and they affect us. This is
Oh my God, beautifully stated.
yes.
Beautifully stated.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
you have to remember, I think, that you emanated feeling. We got that feeling, but then the feeling goes out.
Like the butterfly effect, that just thousand, it catches on. It's
It's,
there.
it's this beautiful a ripple effect of energy. Totally magnificent.
So
And
we
the
got to
minute
practice this. Okay, do you mind?
No,
That-
I've been
'cause
doing it. I've been doing
it's
it.
a-
Just listen, I am my own person. I have been doing it.
It's a
Not
buzz
all
though.
the time. It is.
There's a buzzing that I felt a buzzing.
I still feel
yeah,
it.
the
Sorry, I
energy.
still feel it.
Yeah, the energy's still here. It's still
Yeah.
here. There's too much chatter, I think, because you can't get Alan. That's not about you right now about the
No,
chatter,
I
but
wasn't thinking about me. I think of everything.
there's too much chatter to get there, and it takes a lot of work. It may look simple or easy to you or someone watching this. You got to get out of the chatter, out of the noise, out of the chaos, and allow that vibration to do something. Let me tell you one other story. I remember on the road, we were in Pennsylvania doing an event, and all of us, and I was with my staff, Diane and Steve, and all of a sudden, the restaurant was full of this intelligent vibrational energy. The whole thing was full. I started writing the messages on the napkins and on paper. So yes, we've got to get out of the chatter to find that space. So I got out of the chatter in the restaurant and was able to find that space.
It is another state of consciousness.
It is.
And we
It
can
is.
get there. We live there really when we're not chattering.
Yeah, that's for
What,
sure.
is there anything else you want to say, to the audience, since we're gonna just
I,
quietly end?
I think Alan said it all actually with this language, greater consciousness of light. I think what we're talking about here is the next step of our journey. It's walking through that tunnel, as you said, or walking towards something. And that something is light. I'm not defining it, meaning I'm not defining it like it's this or it's that. It's light. Light needs no light, needs light needs no description. Light is light. So step into the light. Step forward. And
Let it fill your body because it
Thank
is
you,
filling our
Roland.
body.
something's happening right now. It's amazing how it works, isn't it?
Well, when you talk about it,
You know why? Because when I talk about it, I'm home. Because one of the things I found in this experience is that I'm home.
That's beautiful.
Okay, I'm letting go. That's it.
oh, you don't have to let go for
Yeah.
us,
No, that's good.
but we'll do it.
Roland, you know what this made me, and I know your play, but you know when you said when you walk through the door
Yeah.
and it was light filled, I don't even know if that was a premonition of something bigger like this.
Well, you know, the story, that story also tells what exists beyond.
Yeah.
We just never told that part of it. Because when you walk through the door, you see all of this, and then there's another light beyond that. So that's a whole nother
But
conversation.
you
So
know, it starts to, I was just noticing how it changed for your speech gets slower. I see your eyes sort of glaze over and I feel your consciousness shift. So I'm just, maybe you know that, but I
yeah, I
feel
mean,
energy
thanks
starting
for the
to,
assessment.
no, it's not an assessment. I
No,
feel you
We're
shifting.
validating. Okay.
I'm
but
feeling you
thanks for the
shifting
validation.
consciousness. I feel
So
the shift in you, and that's transmittable. You are
Yeah,
transmitting this, even though we're in quarantine. You're transmitting this.
yeah, I am. Well, I can't wait to see what we do next. And
Okay.
okay, we'll be in
um,
touch,
eh,
and everybody out there, we're sending you a lot of love, and
We'll
we're all in
prepare,
this together. And Roland, just
and we'll
thank
just
you for everything you do, that you continue to do, and for your presence in our lives.
and we're going to get rid of the chatter for the next session and just we'll just keep moving
And I
into
thought
that
I talked a
space.
lot.
We'll just move into that space of being. Thanks,
okay.
Roland.
It
Bye,
was
everybody.
lovely being with you and all of you. Thank you so much.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Okay.
God
Thanks,
bless.
Roland. See you
God
later.
bless.
And
God
how do we find Roland
bless.
again? What's the
Oh,
website?
www.blessingsbyroland.com. 3 meditations a week. Just, he's there.
Okay, and stay tuned for more New Realities live program because this is exciting when it comes through live and boom, we're all transported.
Bida bong, bida boom.
Alan Steinfeld with Barbara Slane here at the, where are we, Barbara? Don't tell us specific.
We're in Wakaba. Oh, sorry.
We're in a beautiful vortex. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Thanks, Roland.
Thank you.